What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and also like button for the latest Fantastico. It was just announced yesterday Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. will challenge Mexican superstar. Well, they're both Mexican stars, and that's Canelo Alvarez. I was born ready. Now, Chavez Jr. did an interview with ESPN Deportes. He had some interesting things to say. It sounded like, from his telling of the situation, he had to go through hell in order to get and give in to all of Team Canelo's demands. And I'm going to read some direct quotes from Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and what he had to say. And this is what he said. I always said yes to the fight, but of course I would not allow them to abuse me. But in the end, I gave in to everything. There is a rematch clause. $1 million for every pound that I'm over. $1 million. The rematch has percentages on the month I agreed to. The weight they applied on the rematch. I'm not allowed to place any fighter of mine on the card. Everything is against me, but it does not matter, because in the ring it's only going to be me and him, and nobody is going to help him. I am motivated by the fight. The pressure is on him. I am ready, and I am going to win the fight, because at that weight he won't be able to do nothing with me. And that's from the man Julio. So honestly, I don't see, this is my thoughts now, I don't see why Chavez would lie about those different things. And if for some reason he was like exaggerating or whatever, let's see if Team Canelo ever responds and says, hey, there's no rematch clause, or hey, there's not £1 million or $1 million per pound overage fee or whatever, right? So I do believe Chavez Jr. is telling the truth, and it's kind of evident by the fight weight, the weight that they're fighting at, 164.5. That sounds to me a little bit petty, and it sounds like you're kind of jockeying for a position. You know, Chavez Jr. is probably going to have a hell of a time making 165. I mean, this guy that fought a couple, maybe 2 years ago, fought Andres Fonfara at light heavyweight, and I think missed that weight. So years later, he hasn't fought at 160 since Sergio Maravilla Martinez, and that was like 2012. So a lot's changed. He's had a lot of inactivity, injuries, long stretches of layoffs, and legal problems, trying to get released from Top Rank and different stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. That's the biggest question. That's the $1 million question. If Chavez Jr. that showed up and was in there with Martinez, if he shows up, that's a difficult fight for Canelo. And not saying he looked good in those first 11 rounds, but he was relentless. And the big difference is, huge difference is Martinez was very light on his feet, and he was a southpaw, and he was a lot slicker than Canelo. Canelo he has slow feet, fast hands, slow feet. He has to kind of walk and get into position. Sergio Martinez can like skip and like move about in a different fashion with his footwork. Sergio Martinez is a former soccer player and bicyclist. You know what I'm saying? So he has good legs in general. Canelo is like real stout. You look at his calves, they're pretty big. You know what I'm saying? He's like more sluggish when it comes to his footwork and to his feet. He looks like dense. So it's going to be an interesting fight, especially at the weight. But I believe Chavez Jr., what he's saying. I think that Canelo and team, they know their fighter is a rock star and he's the A-side. So it sounds like, I don't know if it's just because Canelo's young or whatever, it sounds like he had to play this role, so he's making for damn sure that people know he's the A-side now. You know what I mean? Floyd's retired, even though he didn't beat him, but Floyd's retired, he beat Cotto, and now it's like he's like, I want to A-side somebody now. It's my turn. And he keeps, you know what I mean? That's why he's putting the hashtag #MeEda, like it's my era, it's my time. I'm calling the shots now. I'm doing what Floyd did or whatever, and dictating, and what Oscar got to do. I'm doing the dictating now. And it seems very apparent that his team is trying to do that, because like I said, I've interviewed Amir Khan, and I'll try to put the clip in the video. He said that Golden Boy said, if you don't take this fight at 155, which is not even a weight class, Canelo weight, then there's no fight.
We mentioned it to the Golden Boy, and they didn't want to do it. They said, look, we don't want to do the rehydration clause. And I was like, look, you know what? Forget it. I tried to bring Canelo down in weight. He didn't want to do that.
How much did you want to bring him down?
Well, 153 would have been good. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I wanted to maybe do a rehydration clause. Look, I was happy to give 12 pounds away, and they didn't want to do that either. So then I said, you know what? Forget the 155 it is, and forget the rehydration clause, because once I beat him, I want to beat him fair and square where I don't want no.
Because Khan told me specifically when we were interviewing him, it was at a Ward fight. He said that it was either accept their rules or there was no fight. And the rules were, we're not doing a rehydration clause, and we're not doing anything less than 155. We're not doing 154, even though they did 154 the very next fight for Liam Smith. So clearly they just want to be clearly Team Canelo wants to be in the driver's seat. Very apparent. And see, it's very strategic, because you have to look at it. Canelo was a guy who'd been knocked out at 35, got knocked out at 140, and he was considered chinny, only had 3 welterweight fights. So they didn't want any rehydration clause or anything like that. But since Chavez Jr. is notoriously known for being big, they might have put in a rehydration clause, or they put in $1 million clause that he can't go above 164.5 or he'll be penalized $1 million per pound. Right? And I'm assuming if it's like 0.5, then maybe 500,000. Usually the contracts have pretty detailed scenario A, B, and C. So it's an interesting fight. The weight is the biggest issue. What type of Chavez are going to show up? $1 million per pound. That's pretty steep. I've never seen that. But he clearly, I give props to Chavez Jr. You can say whatever you want, and you got to listen to me. Hear me out. Because a lot of people are like, what do you mean you give props to him? He's lazy. And like, I give him props for the simple fact that, and based on his dad's name, he don't have to do shit. He probably don't have to work. He don't have to do nothing. But he's still trying at it. He's still trying to fight. But beyond that, based on his dad's name and his name, right, he could clearly be doing this to somebody. Somebody. Maybe not Canelo, because Canelo's a bigger star or whatever you want to say. But he could do this to somebody, you know what I mean? A Brian Vera level person, and just go ham and like A-side them out and be like, I'm the A-side. I'm the son of a Mexican legend. You come to Chavez weight. You know what I'm saying? And to a degree, he has done that. He's made up weight classes and stuff too. But I think that's more, for him, not making excuses, I don't think it's out of a strategy. It's because he can't make the weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he failed to make weight, so they had to renegotiate some other weight or whatever. But he's accepting all of the Canelo demand. So that in this era of boxing, sometimes egos and pride get involved, and people are like, man, why should I listen to that redhead? I'm not coming to 164.5. I'm not paying $1 million per overage pound. You know what I'm saying? And clearly he wanted the fight, because like he said, he gave in to all their demands, rematch clause, everything that they threw at him, he agreed to. So he made sure that there was a fight, and we don't always get that. You look at Canelo Triple G, perfect example. Triple G and team said, oh, we want to fight Canelo, but they had an offer which was definitely reasonable, $15 million flat rate plus a small percentage of the pay-per-view upside, definitely reasonable. And Team Triple G was like, no, we want a percentage. You know what I mean? 15 million guaranteed plus some pay-per-view. No, we want a straight flat out percentage of everything. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of goes to show you with the negotiating who wants it the baddest. You know what I mean? Obviously, the only difference in that is Triple G's undefeated, and his career's kind of on the rise, versus Chavez Jr. Maybe he's not in the same position as a Triple G to like demand anything. But I mean, actually, that doesn't even make sense, because at the end of the day, Chavez Jr. doesn't have to fight Canelo. He could still fight somebody else. You know what I mean? He could try to fight Badou Jack, James DeGale winner, or something like that. So he clearly wanted to fight, because he gave in to all the wishes and all the demands and stuff like that. Versus, like I said, the Triple G situation, 15 million wasn't a good enough offer. They want a percentage. So he could have been a diva and been like, oh, I'm Chavez Jr. What are you talking about? But it doesn't sound like he did that and gave in, and he just wants to fight Canelo for whatever reason. So let's get it. Let me know what you guys think. Who wins this fight? Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.